evening, ladies and gentlemen. Slide on in and tip your hats because tonight the airwaves are humming like a jazz joint after midnight. The lights are low, the secrets are high, and I've got a stack of tales ready to shimmer their way into your imagination. So grab your seat, settle your spirits, and let's take a moonlit stroll through mystery, melody, and mischief. The mic's hot, the hour's right, and let's get the show swinging. And before we actually get into it, I want to let everybody know, or as you probably tell, I am trying a new mic right now, so I hope you guys like it. I hope it sounds a lot better and actually can be heard a lot smoother. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the new mic. If you do, just make sure to let me know. If not, I'll change it back. But tonight's broadcast is going to be into more SCP tonight. I am quite enjoying SCP, especially when they are in document form, report style, I guess is what it'd be called. But we are going to go with SCP-026 and 027 tonight. So, let's just get right into it with starting off as 026. SCP-026, Afraid of the Dark. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-026 is to be kept in a standard 10 by 10 reinforced containment chamber at Site-45. The chamber must remain illuminated at all times by overhead fluorescent lighting, minimum 800 lux. Backup emergency power must maintain continuous illumination should the main power fail. No source of darkness, shadows, or partial shading is permitted within the chamber. Personnel entering SCP-026 containment area must wear body-mounted lights, and no more than 2 individuals may enter simultaneously. Direct observation of SCP-026 in darkness is strictly prohibited. Any failure to maintain illumination, including accidental shadows or temporary power outages, must be reported immediately, and Mobile Task Force Lambda 7 Lightkeepers will conduct an emergency lighting protocol. Under no circumstances are personnel to remove SCP-026 from its chamber without prior level approval from at least 2 Level 4 personnel. The entity must not be exposed to darkness under any conditions, as exposure activates its anomalous effects. See description. All illumination equipment must be tested weekly for functionality and redundancy. Any light source that fail must be replaced immediately. CCTV monitoring is mandatory 24/7. Description. SCP-026 is a humanoid entity approximately 1.75 meters in height and 70 kilograms in weight. Why did I say kilometers? His body is entirely black, absorbing ambient light to create the appearance of a featureless silhouette. Facial features are indescribable through thermal imaging showing a humanoid heat signature. SCP-026 appears to possess musculature consistent with a human of similar size and weight. That sounds weird. Don't know why those 2 words don't sound right together. The primary anomalous property of SCP-026 is its ability to induce extreme psychological and physiological distress in any human exposed to darkness, even briefly. Symptoms include hyperventilation and tachycardia, visual and auditory hallucinations, severe anxiety and panic attacks, disorientation, and temporary paralysis. Prolonged exposure over 30 seconds results in aggressive behavior by SCP-026, targeting the affected individual. Attacks are extremely lethal, and multiple personnel have been killed after unintentional shadow exposure during containment breaches. SCP-026 does not appear to require sustenance. Oh my god, English. Why does it have to be so difficult sometimes? Or sleep but will display signs of agitation if illumination is insufficient. SCP-026 was discovered in Redacted, Oregon. Following the disappearance of a local family, police reports describe unusual shadows that appear to move independently of any light source, and reports of family members frozen in fear in their home. All victims were found deceased in rooms where lights had failed or where curtains blocked out outside light. Foundation agents embedded within local law enforcement secured SCP-026 after 2 civilians died from exposure during containment attempts. SCP-026 was transported to Site 45 under full lighting protocols. Incident logs. Incident 026-A, initial containment breach. Date, redacted, 19 redacted. Personnel involved. Dr. Simons, D4321, MTF Epsilon 4. Their initial containment, a fluorescent bulb malfunctioned, creating a 0.5 second shadow on the floor. SCP-026 reacted immediately, lunging toward the source. D4321 was killed in under 3 seconds. Dr. Simons and Epsilon 4 agents narrowly avoided fatal contact using portable lighting. Analysis. Even brief exposure to shadows triggers immediate aggression response. SCP-026 demonstrates rapid movement and target tracking even in limited darkness. Incident 026-B, Observation Protocol Test. Date, redacted, 19 redacted. Procedure. Standard illumination maintained, research observed, SCP-026 through reinforced glass. A temporary light reduction, 100 lux drop, was implemented to measure reaction threshold. Results. SCP-026 became noticeably agitated. Head movements increased, body swayed, and audio sensors captured a low-frequency growl. No personnel were harmed. Conclusion. SCP-026 reacts strongly to subtle reductions in light, not solely to complete darkness. Incident 026-3-D Class Exposure Test. Date. Redacted, 19 redacted. Subject, D7451. Procedure. Subject instructed to enter chamber wearing Q goggles? That word I've never seen before, so I had not pronounced it wrong, but I do apologize. Blocking 90% of light. Results: within 5 seconds, D7451 began screaming, clawing at the goggles. SCP-026 advanced rapidly, making physical contact. Subject suffered multiple lacerations and concussive trauma. Vital signs ceased after 12 seconds of direct exposure. Conclusions. SCP-026 perceives darkness as a sensory violation and responds with lethal precision. Exposure to even minor visual occlusions, I think is the word I'm trying to say, can trigger an attack. Exploration logs. Test series 026-E- Extended Observation. Objective. Determine behavioral patterns under constant illumination. Setup. SCP-026 placed in a 10 by 10 chamber fully illuminated by 12 fluorescent lamps. Personnel monitoring remotely. Oh my god, today is not my day. Being gone for a week has really dampened all my speech. Remotely via CCTV and high-resolution cameras. Observation. SCP-026 exhibits intermittent pacing and head-turning movements, and if scanning for unseen threats. Audio recordings reveals low-frequency humming and occasional high-pitched noises, suggesting sensory adaptation. The entity will sit or crouch intermediately, yet never fully rests. Behavioral note. SCP-026 responds aggressively to approach of shadows or rapid light movement. Bright uniformed lighting appears to maintain passive complacence. Incident 026-F-Darkness Induced Aggression. Date, redacted, 20, redacted. Event, sudden power outage lasting 3.2 seconds. Result, SCP-026 reacted instantly, striking reinforced glass panels. Damaged included 8mm reinforced glass shattered, light array malfunction due to electrical surge, and 2 security personnel received blunt force trauma. Containment breach averted using emergency backup lighting. Observation: SCP-026's speed exceeds previous estimations. Distance covered in seconds suggests both physical and possible anomalous teleportation or movement amplification during darkness exposure. Psychological notes: personnel exposed to SCP-026 or its auditory signals report intense, lingering fear. Subjective experiences include feeling watched even in full light, sensations of creeping darkness, and auditory hallucinations, whispers, and footsteps. Repeated exposure can induce claustrophobia, insomnia, and long-term paranoia. Psychological evaluation: personnel after incident 026-F showed acute stress disorder in 3 researchers, persisted over 2 months. Addendum 026-H-audio analysis. Analysis of recorded vocalizations suggests SCP-026 emits frequencies between 12 Hz and 23 kHz. I think it's the term for sound. Humans exposed report feeling pressure in the chest and head, dizziness and nausea, a compulsion to remain in the illuminated areas. Foundation hypothesis: SCP-026 uses low-frequency sound to influence human balance and perception, heightening vulnerability during darkness exposure. Addendum 026-J-D class observations. D classes subjected, one of those 2 words, to standard exposure protocols demonstrate intense fear responses, often attempting to flee or attack. In controlled experiments, subjects exposed to SCP-026 for under 3 seconds survived but displayed long-term psychological trauma. Internal memorandum: containment recommendations. From Dr. H. Corda, lead researcher, to Site-45 administration. SCP-026 is extremely sensitive to darkness. Containment procedures must be followed rigorously. Backup lighting and redundant systems are mandatory. Personnel must be briefed continuously and reminded that even brief shadows, window blinds, or reflective surfaces can trigger lethal aggression. Given SCP-026's behavior, the Euclid classification remains appropriate through the further observation. Reclassification to Keter may be considered if containment risk increases. Closing statement. SCP-026's predatory response to darkness and shadows makes it one of the most dangerous humanoid anomalies currently under Foundation care. The entity's behavior is consistent but unpredictable. Anomalies during lighting failure demonstrate the need for extreme caution. All personnel interacting with SCP-026 must adhere to containment protocols with regular psychological evaluation and strict adherence to lighting redundancy procedures. Failure to maintain continuous illumination constitutes, a direct containment breach. And that is SCP-026. That was a lot harder for me to read for some reason due to my not being talkative as much as I was over the week. But I'm glad to finally do that. But I quite enjoyed that. That is a lot different than what we've had recently, but I have to say, it was quite interesting. Alright, on to the SCP-027, the Vermin God. SCP-027, the Vermin God, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-027 is to be contained in a reinforced sealed chamber measuring no less than 6 by 6 by 4 at Site-12. The The chamber must have stainless steel walls treated with anti-corrosive coating, airlock double doors with pest-proof seals, negative air pressure system to prevent the escape of vermin, all entrances equipped with ultraviolet light sterilizers. I'm already hating this creatures. I'm already hating this SCP a lot due to the just being vermin. Oof. The containment chamber is to be inspected daily for rodent activity. Any breach in the seals, presence of vermin, or signs of SCP-027 activity is to be reported immediately. No personnel are to enter SCP-027's chamber without Level 4 authorization and full protective gear, including hazmat suits with integrated pest control features. How does that work? Cool, but I'm curious. Personnel entering SCP-027's chamber must avoid direct skin contact with the entity at all times. Any exposure is considered extremely hazardous, as SCP-027 secretes an anomalous pathogen through contact with biological tissue. Feeding of vermin to SCP-027 is permitted only under controlled conditions. All vermin are to be pre-screened to ensure no whatever that word is. Something with pathogens. Interaction with SCP-027 outside of approved testing is strictly forbidden. Description. SCP-027 as a human subject is redacted, who presents extreme and persistent infestations by parasitic rodents. The subject exhibits rabid proliferation of rodents, primarily Rattus, black rat, which appear to originate from SCP-027's body. The number of rats increase exponentially over time, with groups of 500 to 1,000 emerging within 24 hours of observation. Oh my god, just burn it with fire. Rodents demonstrate abnormal intelligence, apparent coordination, and unwavering loyalty to SCP-027. SCP-027's body displays neurotic tissue where rodent clusters are most concentrated, yet no signs of pain or functional impairment. The entity is capable of controlling rodents within a 50-meter radius, commanding them to attack, defend, or swarm on command. Observations suggest cognitive synchronization between SCP-027 and its vermin horde. Biological analysis of SCP-027 indicates a highly unusual immune system. Despite extensive infestation, the subject exhibits no systematic infection or organ failure. Blood and tissue samples reveal a unique retroviral anomaly that appears and integrate with rodent DNA upon contact. Oh god. SCP-027 is extremely persuasive and exhibits high-level manipulation behavior. It is believed the entity may possess limited precognitive abilities, practically in detecting threats to its survival or horde. God, why is words today so damn difficult? Discovery log. SCP-027 was discovered in redacted Illinois. After a series of disappearances in an abandoned warehouse district, civilians reported a man covered in rats, speaking in strange chants, leading groups of vermin to assault onlookers. Oh, okay, creepy. I'm still saying burn this thing with fire. I don't know why we would let this thing live. Foundation MTF units arrived after multiple civilian fatalities. SCP-027 was encountered in a large industrial storage facility with an estimated of 12,000 rats present. Get a nuke at that point, or napalm. Upon entry, the entity remained calm and verbally instructed the horde to cease attacks until containment was complete. After 6 hours of operation involving high-intensity lighting, ultraviolet sterilizers, and temporary rodent repellent fog, the SCP-027 was sedated and transferred to Site-12. All captured rats were incinerated. Post-mortem analysis revealed anomalous semi-sentient neural networks in the rodent tissue, suggesting SCP-027 exerts a supernatural influence over them. Testing logs. Test series SCP-027-A rodent control. Objective. Measure SCP-027's range of control over rodent populations. Method: groups of 500 to or 50 to 500 rats placed in incremental distances from SCP-027. Result: within 10 meters, total obedience and coordinated activity. 10 to 30 meters, partial obedience, delayed response times. 30 to 50 meters, sporadic obedience, only the strongest or largest rodents respond. Beyond 50 meters, no response observed. Conclusion: SCP-027 exhibits effective control over rodents within a 50-meter radius. Ew, still though, that's disgusting. Test Series 027-B. Communication with vermin. Objective: determine if rats under SCP-027's control can transmit messages. Method: rodents instructed to carry messages through predetermined obstacle courses. Results: messages were delivered with 97% accuracy. Ooh. Observers noted unusual synchronization as if rats were operating under collective thought. Conclusion: SCP-027's influence extends to cognition of the rodents, allowing them to act as coordinated agents. Ew, but cool at the same time. Test Series 027-C. Infection Analysis. Objective: examine pathogen transfer from SCP-027 to rodents. Method: blood samples taken from rodents post-interaction compared to controlled group of unexposed rats. Results: pathogen integration confirmed. Infected rats displayed improved neural communication, enhanced swarm behavior. No external pathogen vectors detected. Conclusion: SCP-027's retroviral anomaly is capable of enhancing cognitive and cooperative abilities in rodents. Ew. That's still cool. Just still ew. Why rats? Ew. Incident reports. Incident 027-1. Unauthorized access. Date: redacted, 19 redacted. Personnel: D-4481, 2 research interns. D-4481 entered SCP-027's chamber without supervision, attempting to pip the rats, approximately 500 rodent swarm D-4481, and the interns. Both interns survived with minor injuries after containment measures were deployed. D-4481 suffered severe lacerations and was euthanized. Ooh, that's awful. Incident 027-2, Containment Breach. Date: redacted, 19 redacted. Electrical failure caused chamber lighting to drop by 70%. SCP-027 did not exit containment, but several rats fled through ventilation shafts. Response: MTF Lambda 7 implemented emergency rodent containment. Surveillance indicated exposed rats returned to SCP-027's chamber within 2 hours, showing loyalty despite distance. Conclusion: SCP-027 can remotely recall controlled rodents, reinforcing the entity's anomalous influence. That is still so disturbing. Incident 027-3, Psychological Influence. Date: redacted, 19 redacted. Personnel: Dr. H. Corda. Corda. Dr. Corda, attempting to perform blood analysis, reported fleeing. Feeling compelled to assist. SCP-027 and releasing the rat. Security removed Dr. Corda from the chamber. Wait, so, Corda got, psychological evaluation confirmed temporary cognitive manipulation. Ooh. That's weird. So even, okay, whatever. Conclusion: SCP-027 may possess limited psychic influence, particularly over individuals in proximity to rodents. Okay. Okay. Addendum 027-D. Behavioral observations. Sorry, I got lost there for a second. I was trying to make sense of that. SCP-027 exhibits the following behaviors. 1. Ritualistic movements before issuing commands to the rats. 2. Vocalizations interpreted as chants or structured syllables. And 3. Inactivity when no vermin are present, indicating dependency on rat presence for anomalous activity. Dr. Heldens notes, the vermin god is more than a man covered in rats. It is a living nexus of rodent intelligence. Oh, that's creepy. Addendum 027-E, morality statistics. 8 personnel fatalities recorded over 12 months due to direct contact or containment errors. 3D class fatalities from exposure to uncontained rodent swarms. And no deaths recorded when standard illumination and pest control protocols maintained. Containment challenges. SCP-027's abilities manipulate large number of animals combined with partial psychic influence necessitates constant vigilance. Necessitates. That's the word I was looking for. Any lapse in containment could result in a rapid loss of personnel and facility integrity. Closing statement. SCP-027 remains Euclid class due to its predictability containment with rigorous precautions. However, its intelligence, rapid propagation of vermin, and potential psychic influence make it one of the more dangerous humanoid entities currently under Foundation observations. Site 12 continues to maintain redundant containment measures, including continuous monitoring, rapid response protocols, and weekly review of chamber integrity. And that is it for the 2 SCPs for tonight. And I have to say, I think I really despise the vermin god. It is disgusting and it needs to be burned with fire. I don't know why they haven't tried it yet, but, well, they did. Never mind, I take that back. They have, but with the rodents, right? Not the vermin god himself. Still, disgusting, but cool, especially with how the fact that he does have a limitation. But it does have a weird pathogen, you know, what you call it. Still disgusting, but cool. So, yeah, from the look at the time on our clock, we are reaching our end of tonight's broadcast. And with that, folks, our little rendezvous draws to a close. The curtain's dipping, the lights are dimming, and night itself is giving us the old wink. I thank you kindly for lending your ears and sharing a slice of your evening with me. Until we meet again, keep your chin up, your spirits high, and your troubles white as a feather in the summer breeze. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. May your dreams jitterbug till dawn.